Love listening to your favorite station? Start getting rewarded for the things you already do, like streaming your favorite radio station online. It's easy. Go to cbslocalrewards.com, sign up, and start earning points for listening to your favorite online CBS radio stations, reading articles, and viewing photo galleries on your local CBS website. Redeem your points for great prizes and gift cards from stores like Nike, Best Buy, and Amazon. Sign up today at cbslocalrewards.com. That's cbslocalrewards.com.
Play.it Sports Podcasts are powered by DraftKings. Sign up and play daily fantasy sports for real money.
All right, Rick, your season-long fantasy football lineup is locked in and ready for action, but you don't have to wait until Week 16 to get paid. Put your fantasy skills to test starting Sunday at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site where you can kick the season off by winning $2 million.
It's the biggest fantasy football contest ever. $10 million in prizes are up for grabs, including $2 million for the first place and $1 million for second.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments. It's fantasy football on demand. You play where you want, when you want, and with the players you want.
And turn your love of football into a life-changing payday.
You just pick the players, pile up the points, and pick up the cash. It's that easy.
You've never experienced football, woo, like this. This
isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time.
Hurry to DraftKings.com and use promo code FLAIR, Flair, to play for free a shot at part of $10 million in Sunday's Millionaire Maker event.
Enter Flair for free entry now only at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
Woo!
DraftKings.com.
A man who wears the 10 pounds of gold, the nature boy, Ric Flair.
You know, I always like to take this opportunity to talk about myself. Woo! Woo!
The 16-time heavyweight champion has arrived.
I've got the style and profile like never before.
The greatest talker in the history of the business is behind the mic once again.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine like, jet flying, son of a gun. Woo!
This is Wooooo Nation with Ric Flair.
I'm the man. Hey, this is Nature Boy Ric Flair, 16 times your world heavyweight champion, the host of Wooooo Nation, along with my co-host, Conrad Thompson, the legendary billionaire.
Oh, my God.
Side by side with the legendary Jim Andrews in the state of Alabama.
Oh, my God.
And today, I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 people in my entire life that I have idolized, that I've wanted to meet. And today, of course, I've known this gentleman for a long time. But the 3 people that I wanted to meet in my lifetime and hang around, and I've accomplished all that. And today I have him as a guest on my podcast. It's the legendary Lawrence Taylor, LT, the man, the myth. And as Shannon Sharp, who didn't even play against LT, said on First Take last week, the greatest football player that ever lived. Not quarterback, not running back, the greatest football player. And I don't think you ever played against Shannon Sharp, did you?
Shannon, I really don't think so. I think Shannon might have been my last year, or may have been his first year.
Yeah, but I mean, you never had to kick his ass, but he was still...
No. He's going to line up on the outside, I promise.
Yeah. Hey, so listen, the first 2, just so you know, were Wilt Chamberlain. I met him in Honolulu about 10 years before he died, and of course, the other one's Joe Namath. So, and I don't think there's much that Joe hasn't done that you and I haven't done either, if we're just be honest about it. So, good Lord. Lawrence Taylor. So, Lawrence, I have to tell you, I think the first time I ever saw you was at Hampton Roads Coliseum.
Yeah.
And then from there, you came and watched me as a high school kid. And then from there...
That's back there when you was wrestling, you was tag teaming, and you was wrestling George Becker and Johnny Weaver.
That's right, I know. I'm embarrassed that you're old enough to remember that.
I used to sit back and be mad as a mother because, you guys are always the bad guys.
Yeah.
And George Beck and Johnny Will was always the good guys, but y'all beat them every time. They used to make me madder than I couldn't tell you how mad.
We had to kick their ass, man, to keep it straight. And obviously you followed suit because you didn't care whose ass you kicked over the years.
No, I don't. I was very fortunate, man, because I played in a time when football was real football. It's like nowadays it's crazy money. They're making 10 times what I ever made in the league and stuff, and I understand that. But back there when you couldn't move to another team, you had to. It was just like, hey, when they got you, and they're gonna keep you as long as they can keep you, and. So it's really nothing that you can do. So it wasn't about playing to get paid more money. It's about playing because you're going to be there. So when I played, man, hey, I want the guy that's playing across me to know that no matter what he do, I'm going to kick his ass all day.
Yeah, I know. Hey, just going back before we continue, I got to tell you a great story. So you remember Ron Simmons from Florida State?
Of course. Okay,
so you and Ron apparently were on the East-West All-Star Shrine team at the East-West Games. That sound right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Ron said he had just met you for the first time. You guys were on the same team, and you lined up, and he said, God damn it, Rick, he said, all of a sudden, LT started hollering at this quarterback, words I can't say. I'm going to kick you. I'm going to kill you. I mean, here I come, you son of a bitch. And Ron Simmons said he turned around, and it was you screaming at everybody on the field. He said, that was my first introduction to Lawrence Taylor, telling everybody off.
I tell you, football is a special game, and it takes special people to play it. It's an emotional game. And you got to you can't play dirty, but you got to play hard.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. I like when I played, I didn't want you. Don't give me your second stringer. If the second stringer is going to play, then I don't need to play the game. I want to see the best because that's the only way I can judge my talents by playing against the best. And I played against some of the best players that has ever played in this league. So I was very fortunate. Very fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, the football, as you know, I mean, you watch it now. It's absolutely ridiculous the way they've changed the rules. I mean, guys, yeah. I say it all the time. I don't think that you could play a quarter right now without getting kicked out of the game.
I tell you what, it's a safer game. It's not as physical as it used to be. It's a safer game.
Yeah.
For as injuries and stuff like that. But I don't know how you go out and play a football game and you don't hit during the week. I mean, you got to. Yeah, I got to have contact. I mean, that's the only way I can get ready for a game. I got to have contact. I got to hit somebody, or somebody got to hit me to knock me in my face and to just make me think about it or something. But
I don't remember seeing you get knocked on your face too much or your ass. I don't remember seeing that.
I've had a couple. Chicago, and I got cheap shot it. But I've had a couple in my career, mostly in practice before more than games.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, one of the greatest memories, and I'm just going to go. I didn't write anything down. I'm just kind of going from me knowing you and our career and having fun together. Is 1986. Dusty Rhodes, of course, all about John Elway and the Denver Broncos, right? Ric Flair, big party at my house, Arn Anderson, and Arn Anderson's as big a Lawrence Taylor fan as I am. And you guys took it to the Orange Crush that night, man, and that was the first Super Bowl, I think, right? 86?
Yeah, the first one we had ever been in, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal. I think that year you had like 20 and a half sacks.
Yeah, I was fortunate to be NFL Most Valuable Player that year.
Yeah, I like the way you say fortunate. I mean, you got to remember now, you were inducted what year in the Hall of Fame now?
1990.
1990. Okay,
Yeah.
so here we are.
Well, no. I was inducted in 99.
Inducted in 99.
Yes, right,
Okay.
99.
So here we
Second round
are
was 90.
16 years later, right?
Yeah.
And Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith, name it, everybody, the greatest football player that ever lived. And this is not while you're playing, because you ended up 93 was your last year, correct?
93 season, 94 year.
Yeah, okay. So, and people still say you're the greatest football player. I mean, it always comes into perspective with this deal with Brady and all this stuff, but nobody ever compares any quarterback from Brett Favre, and I mean, Brett was great, we all know that, Peyton Manning, all these guys, but when it comes to the greatest football player, and I think it speaks volumes for how good you were, and it speaks volumes for the fact that your legacy is just carried on, and it's the most famous legacy on defensive football that's ever been around. Would you agree?
Well, you know what? I really look at it different ways. I look at I think I'm a pretty good player. Yeah, I was a pretty good player.
Okay.
But when I look at some of the greatest defensive players that ever played, I look at Deacon Jones.
Yep.
I look at Reggie White.
Yep.
And I fall somewhere. You could actually, throw our names up and when they land, you wouldn't really care which way it landed because we're all pretty good damn players.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I think Reggie White.
That's the way I look at it. Do I think I'm the best player, defensive player to ever play the game? That's arbitrary. And like I said, there's a few names you can put in the pile. You throw them up, whichever way they come out, nobody's mad. Nobody.
No, I totally agree. I'm just casting my vote, and I'm hearing people. I mean, people talk about Deacon, and they didn't record sacks back then. And Reggie White, of course, was a very close friend of mine. But Reggie, those guys played defensive end. And I think that you do have to give yourself credit, and I'm going to give it to you as everybody else does. You redefined a position, and you made every offensive scheme change. When Lawrence Taylor was playing, and people acknowledge it. I mean, it's common knowledge that when Perkins drafted you, I mean, and within a couple of months, people were trying to figure out who this guy is, man, because we don't know how to defend him. And I think that's a compliment that's always going to go. The closest guy to you that I ever saw, God rest his soul, was Derek Thomas, the Alabama guy, right?
It was a very good player. And the way I judge great players, anybody can have a good game, anybody can play well, but can he make other people better?
Yeah.
That's what I look at. You got to be able to change the outcome of a game. You got to be able to make the guys around you play better. And that's what constitutes a great defensive player. He can play well, but he makes other players around him play better, and that's what I like about my game.
Yeah, and also longevity. I mean,
longevity it has a lot to do.
Yeah, everybody's great after 2 years. The word "great" can't even be applied to somebody who played 5 years. Or in my business, especially, this guy's great. I don't know. He's been wrestling for 5 years, and Lawrence Taylor doesn't know who he is. He's not great. Does that make sense? No, I mean,
it's so funny, and I understand what you're saying because I see a lot of players have great years.
Yeah.
But greatness is over time. So I mean, can he do it year after year after year? And look at JPP. He had a great rookie year. Mm-hmm. And everybody was looking and saying that he was going to be the next great thing. But, hey, you got to do it over time. You got to do it over time. That's the only way you can measure yourself. You got to do it over time. So
the same thing applies to our business. Our business arguably isn't as challenging as yours, but it's very physical. We've got as I argue the point with people every day, we have 7 guys with career-ending broken necks in the last 5 years. So,
wow.
I mean, even though it's choreographed, and by the way, Pat Patterson told me to tell you hello. He said one of the greatest moments was being the agent when you wrestled Bam Bam.
Yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, though. I tell you, but it's hard work, man. I tell you what, it gets tiring out there.
No, nobody gets it. I mean, I tell these guys, Pat said that, he said, what do you want to do? And you said, what do you want to do? Because I got to tell you, LT, I have seen a lot of guys from Ernie Holmes. You remember that name, right?
Yeah, of course.
And Otis Sistrunk, way before you, right?
Yeah.
I've seen these guys try to get in our business, and, man, they don't last an hour. Because it is physical, number one, and the required time where they go over. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Like you need to be helped out. Like Pat told me that you could have been one of the best wrestlers of all time if you wanted to hang around for a year. That's a hell of a compliment.
One thing I learned about wrestling,
Yeah.
When if they tell you don't move. Don't move.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, because listen, you can get hurt if you do. If you laying down and they're going to do a stunt where they're going to jump and twirl in the air and come down. Hey, don't move.
Yeah. Hold still.
Because if you do, you'll be carried out of there. I promise you.
Oh yeah. I tell you, and the young guys a lot of times, don't know how to make a blade. So they call me the doctor because I'm pretty good at that. And I'll tell a guy, because they're scared to death, right? Don't move, man, or I'll cut your head off. So a couple of the guys have got 25 stitches just because they won't hold still.
I understand that. I know how that is because I'll tell you something. Like you said, some of the stuff is choreographed, but.
Yeah.
It's a physical. It's very physical. I'll tell you what. And one of the best athletes I've ever seen as a big man, I'm tell you what, and I've seen a lot of great athletes, was that Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh, yeah.
As big as he was, I mean, he was light on his feet. He was quick. I mean, he was just a great athlete.
Yeah, he was. He was
just a great athlete.
And he left us way too early. I'm not even sure what happened exactly, but he was a good guy. He was a huge card in Japan and did well here, too. But anyway, I had called yesterday trying to figure out who the agent was on that, and he said he just had a ball with you because a lot of the guys, they get intimidated. And it's really strange because, first of all, I know Lawrence Taylor isn't going to be intimidated walking into a wrestler's locker room, but a lot of the guys are. The only 3 guys that have come into the business and been as natural as you are, that didn't give a shit about anybody and didn't think twice about something going wrong, right? Were you, Kevin Green, and, of course, our buddy Mongo from Las Vegas. Good Lord. By the way,
Kevin Green, he's a specimen, too. I'm really surprised. He hasn't got to the Hall of Fame yet. He's going to have to wait his turn. But
yeah, well, he's broken-hearted about it too.
His time is ready. Is about up. I mean, he's about time to take his little walk too.
Yeah, well, he's broken-hearted about it too. I just was with Derek Brooks the other day, and Derek and I were talking about it. But I think this year the kid from the 49ers, the outside linebacker, defensive end, what's his name? Is
Charles Haley?
Yeah, Charles Haley. I think he's the guy they're pointing at. So,
yeah, Charles was way overdue.
Yeah,
and he has the credentials. He had the credentials to be in the Hall of Fame, and I think that Kevin Green is the next one that's going to have his number called up.
Yeah, I think so too. I hope so. It's hard to believe he was a walk-on at Auburn, huh?
Yeah, it is.
He never even got recruited. Isn't that crazy? And the guy turns out to be, I guess, like 120 sacks. So, and a great guy and tough. Kevin's pretty tough, man. I have to give him his due. So tell me, when at Carolina did you realize how good you were going to be?
Oh, wow. You know what? I tell you.
You just started playing in the ninth grade, right?
Huh?
You just started playing football in the ninth grade, right?
11th.
Junior year, yeah.
Junior, holy cow.
Yeah,
Before that,
11th year.
Yeah, he was playing baseball.
And it was funny that, like I said, when I started playing football, I used to get my ass kicked every day, but as time went on, and in my junior year, I started like the 5th game of the season because the guy who was on the first team, he went down like the first play of the second quarter, and they put me in the game, and I just made play after play after play. And then I caused the fumble and recovered the fumble and scored a touchdown on it, which we won the game. And it was so amazing that every game after that, I just got better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
Until by my senior year, I was preseason All-American. So and I just. My senior year, I never had a bad game, so it just got lucky. And same thing when I went to the college, and when I went to college, the thing was, I was a good player for my high school, but when you go to college, everybody's a good player.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that. So, and the thing was, I didn't really start to gel in college until I guess around my junior year, because I didn't realize. I always wanted to be known in college, because you walk around the university and everybody would talk about this one player or this other player who played here years ago, and I wanted to have a legacy that says, hey, you know what? Hey, I want to be remembered when I leave this place. So the thing was, I didn't know the difference of being feared and being respected. I always wanted to be feared. I thought that was respect. I didn't learn until my junior year being respected.
Yeah, well,
it's better than being feared.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I think you accomplished both. I mean, it's just amazing. I know that at Carolina, I mean, it's they've never no one's followed your act since. I mean, if you think about Carolina, and they had some great athletes, but the two guys that stand out are Michael Jordan and Lawrence Taylor.
And how do you beat that? I mean, if you're a college and you're, kind of hanging your hat on the success that guys had in your program, how do you beat Lawrence Taylor and Michael Jordan? I mean, those are the two greatest of all time.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's like I said, the first 2 years I was feared. Everybody knew me. Listen, don't go into a bar with him because hey, he's gonna turn that place out. Right? But that was the first part. But once I learned how to be respected, and in my junior year, when we played the NC State, I had a great game, and I never had a bad game after that. And by the senior year, I was ACC Player of the Year,
yep.
And got all kinds of awards and stuff. But I mean, and I had a pretty good career behind it. But football was my life. I mean, that's what I eat, sleep, and dream about when I was playing. And I tell you, right now I don't watch as much football. The game's changed. I've changed, and there's other things in life that I have to deal with.
I'll be right back. It's time to shine my 16 world titles.
All right, Rick, now it's that time again. We've got to check in and talk about Casper Mattress. You and Wendy have had a lot of good times on that thing lately.
Oh, my God. Sometimes it's just mind-boggling what I have to put up with since we got that Casper mattress. She's a changed woman. Attitude. They need to put a feature in their commercials from now on saying it's a woman's attitude change.
Wow. So you gave her the old AA, the attitude adjustment. You gave her the old John Cena.
I did. How'd you know that?
Here's the deal, guys. If you haven't already, you need to check out CasperMattress.com. They're an online retailer of all the premium mattresses, but the best part, it's at a fraction of the price. The mattress industry has always made way too much money on trying to convince you that you don't know if this is a good mattress in just a few minutes in the store. Not at Casper. They're going to give you a 100-day money-back guarantee. Really think about that, Rick. You get to try the bed out for 100 days, and it's a great price. Mattresses can often cost more than $1,500, but Casper mattresses cost as little as $500 for a twin, all the way up to just $950. $950 for a king. That's it. And what's really cool about this, and Rick can actually attest to this, it combines premium latex foam with the memory foam. That's how you let the good times roll. Isn't that right, Nate?
That's right, man. Mattresses made in America. Casper.
Oh, you're not getting any better than that. These things are obsessively engineered, shockingly low price. And Rick, tell us all about it. They've got just the right sink, just the right bounce.
And like I said, they are an attitude adjustment for a woman.
And Wendy can even turn over the figure 4 on the Casper mattress.
Exactly. After the attitude adjuster.
I'm just telling you, if Ric Flair, who's put a lot of miles on mattresses, and endorsing Casper mattress, it says a lot. You need to go take advantage of this deal and get an extra $50 off right now. You just have to enter this promo code. What is it, Rick?
It's FLAIR.
Now, how do you take advantage of this? You
Flair.
Flair. You go to Casper.com/Flair, Casper.com/Flair, and you get $50 off. Where do they go, Rick?
Casper.com/Flair. Woo! Casper mattresses. Woo, 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 woo. Or as Wendy would say, woo, 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 woo.
Casper.com.
All the ladies love Slick Rick. You know they love Wooooo Nation. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
All right, Rick, the wait's finally over. The NFL regular season kicks off this week, which means it's time to get off the couch and get down to the stadium. Do you have your tickets yet for the very first Jacksonville Jaguars game? How about the Eagles?
If not, you need to download the SeatGeek app today.
Now, here's how this works, man. You don't just want to get any old tickets outside of the stadium. First of all, it's probably illegal. But secondly, you have no idea where you're going to be seating. You want the prime time seats and you want a good deal? You've got to get this new SeatGeek app. And our listeners can use this promo code. What is it, Rick?
Flair, F-L-A-I-R.
All you got to do is punch that in your SeatGeek app and you'll get a $20 rebate off your first SeatGeek purchase. It takes less than a minute to download the app, so do it right now. And this app is awesome. It does a lot of things the ticketing sites don't. First, you pull up your ticket options from hundreds of online sellers, and you create a one-stop shop for all your tickets. When you shop on SeatGeek, you're seeing virtually every ticket option available for that game, all on one page. There's no need to go anywhere else. And they've got this great feature called Deal Score. It ranks every ticket on the market with a 1 to 100 value score and plots where the best deals are in color-coded interactive maps. Anybody can do this, all on the SeatGeek app. You can do it right at a glance. And finally, the mobile app makes it seamless and easy. No more squiggly letters you can't read into a box that other sites make you do. On SeatGeek, you can store your credit card, and once you find a ticket you want to buy, you just click it with 2 taps. There's no faster way to buy tickets.
I repeat, there's no faster way to buy tickets.
So go ahead and redeem your promo code and save $20 on tickets right now. Here's what you got to do. Download the free SeatGeek app and enter promo code
Flair
in the app, and then SeatGeek will send you $20 once you've made your first purchase. Every ticket purchased on SeatGeek is backed by a 100% guarantee.
100% guarantee. Download the free SeatGeek app and enter promo code Flair. Woo! Today.
SeatGeek.
The greatest talker in the history of the business is behind the mic once again. This is Wooooo Nation with Ric Flair.
We have to go to some of the fun things because do you have any remorse about it being impacting on the fact that Deion Sanders got fired for bringing up that statement to Dan Marino and Boomer Esiason about you supplying the quarterbacks before the games?
Say it again now. Say that again.
Well, I'm watching NFL Today or whatever show that Esiason and Dan Marino were hosting the NFL, the pregame, right? And the first origination was Dion was on that show, right?
Yeah.
So Dion says to Boomer Esiason, because your book had just come out, right? And he goes, so how many women did LT send to your room? And of course,
well, listen, look, I didn't start that tradition. Let me tell you something. It happened. It was going on long before I got here. Because listen, I've been through my share, right? Hey. I've been through my share, so I just thought it was a pretty good idea, and it worked. It worked on me, so I tried on somebody else.
So the idea here is, for those who don't know the story, you try to get the star player from the other team tired before the big game. So the night before, on Saturday night, somebody sends some girls to the room. They knock on the door and say, "I'm here for you," and then the all-star puts on a performance before the game that will affect his performance during the game. Is that right?
Well, listen, hey, like I said, I didn't start that tradition, right? I perpetuated it.
Yeah, well, that's funny, though, is because when you have name recognition like you or someone like me in my business, we're always going to get the label as the guys that did it. Does that make sense? Ric Flair. Do you know how many women over the years, how many wrestlers have gone home to their wife as I traveled around the world and said, hell, I'm not coming home tonight, honey. I'm out with the world champion. And if I don't hang out with him, it makes me look bad.
I do that now.
Yeah.
So anyway, 4 wives later.
Man, I tell you what, it's the life. It's the life of sports. You know, you can't really get away with it because this world is, this country's full of billions of people, and the people they love football and they love to be around athletes, and they love that limelight and stuff like that. And then it's easy to get carried away and get caught up in it.
Oh yeah, I've noticed that about myself. I don't know how. I mean, I when I saw you in Houston, I went, oh man. I said, Lawrence, where are we going tonight? You said, I'm going to Miami, brother. I don't care where you're going. I'm going to Miami.
I'm going home.
Yeah, I said, because the last time that you and I hung out, I've got to tell people, I tell everybody this. I'm at the Field of Dreams, as you were, right?
Yeah.
We're signing at Caesars, and you come walking in, and then 2 minutes later, in comes Mongo. Holy shit. I mean, need say no more about Mongo. Mongo used to carry $15,000 with him when he was with the company, wrestling her in cash, Yeah. I mean, you know what Mongo was doing, and he knows it too. It's not a secret. And I go, Mongo, what are you carrying all that cash for? He go, kid, I got more money than I got time.
I hear you.
Hell yeah.
I used to carry a lot of money with me at all times because I never know when a poker game's going to break out.
Exactly, yeah.
I tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I got to tell you, though, a highlight for me, it's your birthday. We're in Vegas. And LT says, man, we're going to go out tonight. I can't remember the name of the club, but kicking open the door of a big-time bar, Super Bowl weekend in Las Vegas with Lawrence Taylor and Mongo, man, I got to tell you, I thought the Four Horsemen had some action going on. Four Horsemen was nothing like walking to a bar with Lawrence Taylor and Mongo. Because Mongo, where Lawrence is just low-keyed, he doesn't need it. Mongo is so loud.
He is loud.
He loves.
I mean, God, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, he's screaming. Every girl is
There's no way you don't know he's in the play.
Oh, are you kidding? Because your wife was looking at him and he was by himself, But Mongo can raise more hell and tell more girls what's wrong with them. And I can't even use the language on the podcast.
I don't know how the hell does he get away with
I don't know.
Is that his rap? I mean, he got to get a whole new rap. I'm telling you what.
I know. Yeah. Here's the deal. If we were married, and which you are, right? There's no getting a woman to come to the table with Mongo there, man. He's too rough.
Not unless she wanted to be physically undressed.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I don't know how he gets away with that because, the stuff that comes out of his mouth is like off the top of his head.
I know.
It's like he has no filter.
No.
He doesn't care what he says.
I know. And you're just sitting there.
Listen, I'm cool with it, but not everybody is.
Well, it's like he's in the locker room. He never leaves the locker room.
Oh boy, he is something else.
Yeah,
that's our next podcast guest. We got to get Mongo.
Oh, Steve. I mean, Lawrence will tell you, Steve McMichael isn't shy. I mean, he says he calls Jim McMahon like he goes down the line. You know, he's so much fun to be with. I mean, he's got a ton of energy. You know, he's married now and he's got a baby.
I can't believe that.
And he's staying married. I know.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I can't believe that.
Yeah. And he opened up
done through mail.
Yeah, he opened up a new bar. Yeah, he opened up a new club outside of Chicago. It's doing real well, sports bar. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Steve's cool, man. Money wise, he's cool as can be. I guess when he was at Texas, he got involved in some restaurants that came together, and good time. So going back to Mongo and the Bears. So another great night for me is LT comes to see me wrestle in like 83 or 84. I can't remember if it was Sting or Luger or Steamboat at the Continental Airlines.
Sting.
It was Sting, okay.
Yeah.
And then he goes to me, hey, come on back to my bar, we'll have some fun. So, man, that was wife number 2. So she's not with us anymore.
No, that was the first one. That was still first wife.
I was wife number 2.
Oh, that was your first. Your number 2. That was my number 1.
No, my number 2. I'm never going to discuss your marriages. I'm talking about my own problems. Okay, that was wife number 2. But we go over there, and about 6 or 8 of the guys came. And, man, we had the time of our life. That was a beautiful club. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he's playing the Bears the next day, right?
So this is a Saturday night, and LT's got a game the very next day.
LT's got a game the next day. All I got to do is catch a plane. I got nothing. And all I got to do is get in the ring and, like we talked about before, hold still, right? He's got to play, right? He's got a blue Jaguar. Am I right? Was it a blue Jaguar?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yeah, he got that blue Jaguar and drove off, and we got a little. I said, "There's no way this guy played." He had 3 sacks against the Bears.
Wow,
it's the greatest.
Well, I like to get before a game. I like to get at least 2 or 3 hours of good sleep.
Hey, tell me that you've hung around with Charles Barkley.
I've hung with Charles. Charles is Charles is he's another guy that doesn't have a filter.
I know.
God. Great personality. I mean, a fun dude to hang with. But he's another one of those guys that don't have a filter.
Yeah.
Hey, he says what's on his mind, and if he doesn't like you, you'll know it. Just wait 5 minutes. He'll know.
But I mean,
he will definitely tell you.
Yeah, I was kind of going with the fun angle, though. He is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And he can drink those Long Island iced teas, man. Holy cow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still out there drinking or not, but back in the days, he could put them down.
Yeah. Well,
we all could.
I'll reassure you he is.
Older now, so now we settle on half a bottle instead of the full bottle.
Yeah, okay.
That's actually something I read this past week, Rick, when we knew we were going to have LT on. I read a quote the other day that explained exactly why you like him so much. When Taylor was once asked what he could do that no outside linebacker could, his answer was drink.
It's better than taking pain pills, right?
I hear you. But I'll tell you what. Like I said, I was real fortunate. I played for a great coach. I mean, I had some real good coaches. Ray Perkins was my first head coach, but I've always had Bill Parcells. He was my defensive coordinator.
Yes.
When I got there, and he became the head coach in year 3. And Parcells, I don't know if I could have done what I did. I mean, yes, you had the talent to do it, but you might not have the flexibility to do it because some coaches want to coach and they want to coach just one way. They just listen. Hey, you have to do it this way. You got to step right here and then go left, or you got to go left and then go right. Or hey. Bill was like, hey, I don't care where you go, just get there.
Yeah.
And he was. I remember the the first week of practice, I mean, he was on my ass every play. I mean, I couldn't do nothing right. He just on me. And one day I just said, hey, listen, Coach, you can cut me, you can trade me, you can put somebody else in here. I don't care what you do. But one thing, you got to get the hell off my back. You know, I don't work like this. And Parcell, he looked at me, and he realized I was a pretty good player. And he said, well, okay, I'm going to let you do it your way, but if you do it wrong, then you got to do it my way. So I didn't have to talk to him again for the next 10 years. You know?
Yeah.
And so Bill was the type of guy that allowed me, and I don't know how it came about, because I would screw up on certain defenses. And I remember we was playing stack cover 2, and if I'm on the weak side, I have to rush. If I'm on the strong side, I got to drop off and pass. And you know, you got people going in motion, and then you got to figure out if it's a wide receiver going in motion, if it's a back going in motion, where the tight end is. And I said, I ain't got time for all that shit, right? So I would always get it wrong. But I would get it wrong, and you know, I would create a sack or cause a fumble, and every time I did it. And one time I did it wrong again, and I caused a fumble, and I come running off the field, and Bill looked at me. He's like, you know what? Hey, we don't even have that play in the defense. I said, well, Coach, you better put it in on Monday because it's a doozy. You know?
That's great.
So I mean, and we put it in, and that was one good thing about Parcells and Bill Belichick. They allowed our defense to play with some freedom. Now, there's certain guys that, hey, listen, you can't give them no freedom. But they allowed me to play with freedom. They allowed Harry Carson to play with freedom, Brian Kelly. You know, they allowed people to play with freedom, and as long as we was all on the same page.
Yeah. Hey, not to change the subject, but I think of stuff that's coming along the line because, you know, and I'm always going to conclude myself in this conversation, but guys like you and I have been critiqued, you know, for having some fun and stuff like that over the years. What's your take on this kid from the 49ers, who I got to know a couple of years ago, that just got busted again with the guns and all that crap? I mean, he's a great player. The linebacker that just got the 49ers had to cut him. He's been in so much trouble.
I don't really know the what happened with that situation and stuff. But you know what? Hey, I'm not a gun person.
Yeah.
You know what? Hey, if I need to carry a gun where I'm going, then I don't need to really go there.
No. You know? What I'm saying is like it's hard for me to figure out is how a guy, when we're going back to the money thing now, this kid's making $9, $10, $12 million a year, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. And he gets on a plane and calls bomb. I mean, just stuff that you would never imagine. And I just wondered if you had any idea what that was.
I don't understand that, you know, carrying a gun or whatever it is. But you know what? I do remember back when I was playing, and I was coming from a awards banquet in St. Louis, and I got on I was going through security, and it wasn't it wasn't security like they have now.
Yeah.
You know, but I was going through security, and the lady said something to me. I said, "Yeah, I'm carrying a bomb." You know, I said, like I'm carrying a bomb, and because I used that word, you know what? Mm-hmm. They pulled me out of the line. I had to. I couldn't get on the flight. I had to go upstairs and wait till the FBI comes. You know, so I mean, hey, it's some serious stuff. You know, and I can understand guys. If you're going to carry a gun on the plane, put it in your check baggage.
Yeah.
Why would you take a gun on an open plane? I don't understand that.
Yeah. No. Well, even forget about open plane. Plexico Burgess takes it into a strip club in New York and shoots himself in the leg.
Yeah, but that's like I said before, I'm not that. If I can't do it with my hands, and I'm just crossing the things that where you and I might be scrutinized for having a drink. No one's going to ever say we walked into a strip joint with a gun. No.
And the kid from the 49ers wasn't carrying a gun. He had a machine gun. Where's he going to go with that?
I mean, it's that new mentality.
Yeah.
I would just make the point. I think the league has changed, and, hey, you can't do all that foolishness anymore because, the commissioner comes down pretty hard on the players now for foolishness, and and there's so much money in the game. So they're playing this. Only thing I don't understand is why are you paying a guy $43 million, $44 million a year to be the commissioner? Which I thought when you are the commissioner, everything, the buck stops here.
Yeah.
I mean, you are in control of it, and you run the show, and you make the rules, and you hand out the discipline. But every time it's challenged in court, he loses.
Yeah.
So why are you paying him?
Well, that's my question.
He's not. He's the fall guy. So that's the only thing I would be leery about. I mean, and every time he suspends somebody, hey, I'll just take it to court. Just take it to court. Hey, he ain't won one in court yet.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, I got to tell you, because I'm sure that you're a players union guy, and you respect because how in the hell does a guy make $43 million a year, which is the figure? I didn't know. It's $29 base salary, I think. He doesn't play it down. He doesn't do nothing. He got busted for lying. With the thing with Ray Rice, I mean, either he lied or somebody lied. I mean, and he spent millions of dollars on these investigative processes. I mean, it's such a bunch of crap. And then the next day, and they wonder why the players want to get money. I don't blame them for getting paid. The owners, and I think I feel terrible. But I mean, the guys, and I hope you don't ever end up in that position. You seem like you're is tight right now mentally as you've ever been in your life, but God only knows nobody got knocked around any more than you in 13 years. I mean, these kids are in and out in 2 years, and their lives are over. Now the concussion stuff going on, and it just changed so much. And then you got Goodell making all this damn money. Well, they're paying him $43 million a year. I don't think it's wrong for a guy to make $20 million a year. They're the ones. The guys that are making him the money. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't never down a man for making money and stuff. I mean, if he can do it, God bless him. But with great wealth comes great responsibilities, and then with this responsibilities, there comes a lot of different things. I mean, he has taken on the power of the NFL, I think, but mostly in name. I mean, because he does. I mean, it used to be when the commissioner says something, it's law. Because he's the top of the food chain, but that's not the case right now. Was Pete Rozelle the commissioner when you were playing?
Pete Rozelle and then Tagliabue.
Yeah, Tagliabue. So I know when Rozelle said something that nobody bucked up, but it's like if someone said to you, hey, Lawrence, I'm going to pay you $25 million a year, which is the kind of money, if you were alive right now, that'd be the minimum you'd be making, right? And they said, I'm going to pay...
Listen, if I was playing now, it would be called Giant and Taylor Stadium.
Giant Taylor. I agree with you. That's how I feel about if I was working for Vince right now. Giant Taylor Stadium, yeah. But I mean, you can imagine what's making $25 million a year. And well, go ahead. Conrad's got a couple questions for you.
The thing that I'm most fascinated about your career that really is topical right now is it seems make believe, really, but the USFL once tried to challenge the NFL in the early '80s, and back in '83, Donald Trump, who's all over the news these days, owned a team and wanted your services. And so I kind of want you to sort of fill in the blanks for us. Obviously, he's a big name right now because of his presidential run, but back then he was trying to make waves with his own team, and he thought he landed you. What happened with that whole deal?
Well, Donald Trump has always been a name. I'm telling you what. And when he had the USFL, and he took Herschel Walker from the NFL right to straight to the USFL and
the Generals.
And it's back in those days when I was my third year in the league. I was making $125,000 a year. I'd been the defensive player of the year for the last couple of years and stuff, and I really didn't think I was making enough money. Even though I was for our team, I was, pretty good. I was paid more than any other third-year player, whatever. And I was sitting at home, and the phone rang, and I answered the phone, and they said, "Hold for Donald Trump." So he came on the phone. He said, "Hey, LT, how you doing?" I said, "Fine, Mr. Trump. How are you?" He said, "Listen, if you look out your window, there's a car outside a limo. I want you to come and talk to me for a second." So I'm like, "Hey, hell, okay." Hey, I jump in the car to drive on up to New York, and you go into Trump Plaza. You go up to his floor. Go sit in this little theater he has where he can tell the Trump story. It's always, he got the Trump story is on tape, DVD, whatever it is. So I was watching the Trump story.
This is great.
I walked in, so I walk into his office. He said, "Listen, you know what? I'm not going to beat around the bush." He said, "I want you to play for New Jersey General." I said, "Well, that's nice, but I still got 3 more years with the Giants." He said, "I'll wait." He said, "Listen, to tell you how serious I am," he said, "Here's the number to your bank. Call your bank." So I see, check on your account. So I thought I had about, at least 50,000 in my account. Hey, I call up there. I got $1,050,000.
Wow. That's a great story.
He put $1 million into my account that day. He said, "Listen, this is that you know that I'm serious. I want you to sign a future contract. In 3 years, when your contract is up with the Giants, I want you to play for the General." It took me about 3 seconds to think about it. I couldn't even control myself. That pen just signed itself. And it worked out. But at the end of the day, by the time I got out of that office and back to Jersey, it was all over the news. And so George Young and the Giants say this, and not only that, and George Young and the Giants decided to buy Trump out. Let me keep my money, the million. Buy Trump out, and the next year I was making $700,000 a year instead of making $140,000 a year.
Yeah, that's great, man.
And I became the highest paid, player in the league. So it worked out well. So I really never have any bad thing to say about Donald Trump because he looked after me, and he's been a good friend over the years.
Oh yeah, I mean I like Donald Trump. I mean a lot of people are uproar over him, but I mean, the guy, another guy that you say has no filter. We're using that terminology today, but He can afford not to.
Yeah, but only problem is, hey, listen, if he deports everybody, he don't have no Mexicans working for him. I mean, hey, he won't be able to do no work. All of Mexico works for him now. So listen, what the hell is he talking about?
I know. Oh God! Well, the main problem he's got to quit healing on the anchors on Fox News. Good Lord, the girls, jeez.
So we talked at the beginning of the show.
But you got to admire a person in his position. He's worth over $10 billion, so he doesn't need anybody.
No.
He doesn't need anybody, so he can say pretty much what he wants to say, and that's what he does. Mm-hmm. But that is all right to a point.
Yeah.
You know, when you speaking for a nation, you can't say everything you want when you're speaking for a nation.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the only problem I think he's going to get into, because at the end of the day, when all these primaries and all this bullshit are over with, then the people have to sit down and decide: do you want, or who do you want to speak for you? You know, as a country, as a nation, who do you want to speak for you? Do you because I don't want to get into a war because you don't like the color of somebody's shoes or something like that. I don't want to do that.
No, I totally agree. I just don't think. I think that this stuff, and gosh, who knows, politics is not a good subject to discuss it.
Yeah, but if you're a builder, build. If you're a politician, then you politic.
Yeah.
But I think you get, God gives you certain talent, and the one that he has is he can help build this nation from the ground up, but not when the building is already done. Do you need politicians?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, I agree. Do you stay in touch with them now?
I see him every now and then.
Yeah.
Of course, I see him at the golf course and stuff. But and I tell you what, he always speaks to me.
Yeah.
He's a perfect gentleman. I mean, he's a good guy. But and I'd like to see what's going to happen with his run.
Well, can I just say something it's very heartfelt for me to say this to you? Who wouldn't speak to you? And who wouldn't walk up and who wouldn't? No, I'm serious. Who wouldn't feel honored? I can't tell you how cool it was for me to bring my friend, who's the co-host of the show, and my girlfriend over to meet Lawrence Taylor. And I hope you know sincerely that's how I feel about you. I mean, not only as a person, but I mean what you've achieved. I mean, the being the person you are, you've come. I mean, you're an awesome guy that's accomplished so much. But as a celebrity, I mean, I can only imagine. And they say Mickey Mantle had it, and Joe Nathan had it. It had to be really cool to walk down Manhattan with the LT earring on, knowing it was Lawrence Taylor. I mean, I wish I could have been there one day for that shit. Good Lord. So you have Donald Trump.
Like I said, I've been fortunate in a lot of things. New York, to play in New York, and to experience that New York life, bad and good, is something that you'll always be able to think back on, and back to the days of the yesteryears, and always at least have a little smile on your face, because hey, it was a good experience.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm sure he's just equally as glad to see you and shake your hand as you are feel like that when you see him.
Yeah, I bet.
No, go ahead.
So, Mr. Taylor, I want to ask a football question. We kind of, glossed over it at the beginning of the show, but it's a pretty damn big deal. You're the last guy to win the MVP as a defensive player. It only happened one time before. Alan Page from Minnesota won it in 71. You did it in 86. There was a lot of talk last year that J.J. Watt was up for the MVP. What is your take on J.J. Watt and the way he's captivated America?
I think J.J. Watt is a very good player. I mean, he has a great motor. He plays every play. He very seldom takes a play off. I love his motor. When it was having the discussion about being the MVP. Of the league, I told you earlier that the what makes a great defensive player is that he can play on his own, but he makes other players around him better. I really think J.J. Watt was the most valuable player for that team, but if you can't take your team to the playoffs, then you can't be the most valuable player in the league.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And he's a great kid. So
yeah, and I think, listen, I look at him on the football field. I mean, he goes 110%. I mean, he's fierce. He's strong. He's a great defensive player. I mean, I wouldn't know what to tell my offensive tackle to do about him if they was playing, because I mean he really cuts down the lanes when he pass rushes, and when he comes in he restricts the lane. So I mean it's like ain't too much you can do against him. But he's a very hard player, and hopefully he's be able to take it throughout the years.
Yeah.
So I read online that you grew up in Virginia, but grew up a Cowboys fan. What made you a Cowboys fan? Just because they were on TV every week?
My dad was a Redskins fan, so so he always, the Redskins and Cowboys always played, and if he was going to root for the Redskins, hell, I'm going to root for the Cowboys. Yeah. So
you liked Hollywood Henderson, right?
Redskins fan. I never was a Redskins fan and stuff like that, but my dad had to make a decision when when I went to the Giants, he had to make a decision who he liked. He decided he liked me, but still, he's a Redskins fan.
Yeah, they have a huge following. It's amazing, and they haven't played that well lately.
No.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier in the show that you didn't really get into football until your junior year of high school, and most of the time when you have somebody with your type of credentials in football, they grew up playing it their whole life. What kind of made you make the transition from baseball to football? Did your high school coaches recruit you over, or how did that come about?
Well, you know what? I tell you, Coach Jones, Melvin Jones, is a coach that was at Lafayette for 30 years. I mean, he's and every athlete that's ever come out of Lafayette that was a decent athlete or any athlete has met Coach Jones and been tutored by Coach Jones. And I mean, he is something else when it comes to young athletes. And one day he challenged me in the hall. He challenged me to then dared me to come out to play football. I've always been a baseball player, and that's where, I thought my life was going to be playing baseball. And he challenged me one day to come out and play and try out for football. And I came out, and like I said, I mean, for the first 6 weeks, man, they handed me my ass. But I learned how to hand other people their ass too. So and it worked out. I just got better and better and better and better, and until I got to a point where I was pretty good.
You think? Hey, listen, you going to play golf today?
You know I will.
Okay, man. Well, we're going to let you go. We had let's Conrad, you got another question? I'm just so thrilled.
Yeah, give me another question.
Oh, well, let's do it. Let's talk.
If you don't mind, I don't want you to get irritated with me and then not sign a helmet for me next time I see you.
No, hey, I got you.
I got too many friends that want helmets.
Oh, mine's in my den, by the way. Rick can verify that.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Taylor, how did the WWE thing first come about? Did Vince McMahon reach out to you, or did that go a different way?
You know what? Vince McMahon, he reached out to me to do the WWE. I think it was that Wrestlemania. Was that WrestleMania 11?
WrestleMania 11, yes, sir.
WrestleMania 11, and I don't know. I tell you, I thought about it, and then when I met Bam Bam, I decided, I could do this. And, it was a great experience for me because I tell you what, I had never been in that type of atmosphere. It's one thing walking out in the stadium, with 80,000 people in the stadium, but to walk into an arena like that where all eyes are on you, you're the only match.
One-on-one. Yep.
One-on-one. I mean, listen, and I love one-on-one because you got to be able to compete. That's what life is all about, is competing. One-on-one. And I tell you, it was so different, and it was exciting. The atmosphere we had, salt and pepper singing, and we got everything was just a great atmosphere. And I tell you what, I am, until this day, people come and say, "Hey, I know you. You were on WrestleMania 11. Yeah, okay, that's one of the things I did. Yeah, okay. But, it was fun to cross over from one, I guess, sport to another. It was exciting, and I had a lot of the guys, the football guys, were there to cheer me on and stuff. So I tell you what, man, listen, I tell you what, Woo, we need to do this. Me and you need to have a match.
Hey, let's do it. I'll tell you what I want to do before we get off the air here. I have a friend named Kevin Nash, right? He does these gigs where he has a party where he offers up, you can buy a ticket for $300 to go out and party with him for a night, right? So I was thinking, if you were thinking what I was thinking,
Super Bowl party with Lawrence Taylor and Ric Flair?
A Super Bowl party. We advertise it. We charge $1,000. If Michael Jordan could charge $25,000 a week for a damn basketball camp, the LT and I can charge. We could take 100 people at $1,000 a piece, right? $2,000,
It'd
right?
Be cheaper than the bar tab.
And we rent a club and we throw a Super Bowl party, man. Party with an H and LT. Woo!
I'm good with it. I just got to work on my woo, but I'm good with that.
All right, man. Well, we love you, buddy.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Hey,
thank you so much.
Knock him dead on the course today, and I'm honored that you came on the air today. Thanks, LT.
Thank you, Rick.
Lawrence Taylor. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye now.
So how about that, Rick? We've talked about this for a long time, that you didn't just want to do wrestling. We wanted to branch out. We wanted to do some other type of athletes. Lawrence freaking Taylor on Woo Nation today.
Well, I just I'm glad you got to meet him, of course, but to get the guy's personality, man, and like you said, he hasn't done this before, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's no taking away, no denying whatsoever who the guy is in sports and history. And I think that he felt what there is, even at WrestleMania 11, the cross-demographic appeal of being, an athlete. That all the football players love the wrestler, just like we love them. Same with baseball.
What really shocked me the most in this thing today, I did not expect for him to name drop Johnny Weaver I mean, he's an old school wrestling fan.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I didn't wrestle Becker, but LT did see me wrestle Johnny Weaver. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I know. Man. Yeah, he was right there. I told you. I met him when he was like 17 or 18, so.
There's just a lot of folks online who probably have a different impression of him who didn't like that a non-wrestler was in the main event at WrestleMania. But to know that he even knows who a guy named John... Half the WWE roster doesn't know who Johnny Weaver is. And Lawrence Taylor did. That's awesome.
That's the thing. If you grew up in the South in the old days, you knew who Johnny Weaver was.
Absolutely.
You knew who Rip Hawk, Swede Hansen.
Yeah.
And then, which is a terrible thing to have to say, then pretty soon you had to learn who Ric Flair was. Am I possibly this old? Good Lord.
Well, the people at Rich Chris yesterday do not think you're old at all.
No, well, good deal. I just wanted, ladies and gentlemen, we are in Huntsville as we speak right now. We are taping in the Conrad Radisson's own personal studio, which he has built in his house now, nice extension. But I did drive down here yesterday with my girlfriend Wendy, and I hurt myself, not as bad as Conrad hurt herself, but Wendy, who never drinks, hurt herself as well. And when I go to bed at 7:30 at night, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
But when I started at 1 o'clock in the afternoon,
I tried to cover for you, too, because the guys were like, is he really going to bed right now? I'm like, well, it's 8:30 Eastern.
Please do. Please do not order 20 pizzas and pasta meatballs again at 7 o'clock.
In fairness, I was following direct orders from headquarters there when you demanded angel hair pasta and meatballs.
I know, but I sometimes you have to look at me and say, just shut up, Rick.
Okay, just go to bed.
Just go to bed.
Well, let's put this one to bed, buddy. Thanks for having me today. This was awesome.
Woo, thank you.
Football starts this Sunday, but at DraftKings.com, it's already time for the big game. $10 million in prizes are up for grabs in the biggest one-week fantasy football contest ever. That means every play in every game could take you closer to a life-changing payday. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. Use promo code Wooooo at DraftKings.com to play free for your shot at the $2 million top prize in this Sunday's Millionaire Maker event. That's Wooooo for free entry now at DraftKings.com.